Back at the incubator, we got 4 days left. So tomorrow, the turntable that turns every few hours will stop turning, and we'll have to take out the tray tomorrow. So I'll wait until it says 3 days on it before I do it. So I'll probably wait until the afternoon just to be sure that it doesn't turn anymore. It's went pretty well up until yesterday. Yesterday it got real hot outside. It was 90 something degrees outside, and the humidity was 60% outside. So this, you're supposed to keep the humidity somewhere in between 43 and 53 or something like that. Well, it got up to 60. We did everything we could. Of course, the window was open all the way on it, and we opened up the other tray, trying to get as much air to it as possible, but it just wouldn't do anything. It just kept going up and up. Finally got up to about 65, and so I took a little squeegee thing that you use for your ears and stuff, and I sucked that water out of this humidity tray, took it completely out, and that worked. And right now the humidity is at 50% with no water in it. Missouri is just a very humid place. So tomorrow we'll have to put water back into both trays. I'll have to play with it for a while because it's supposed to get up to 70% tomorrow here inside this. The last 3 days is supposed to be 70%. So we kind of Googled around trying to figure out if we damaged the eggs. I didn't think we would, by getting them so humid. And what they said is the more humid the environment, the longer it will take for the chickens to hatch. The lower the humidity, the sooner they will hatch. So I didn't think it was a big deal, and it wasn't too terribly long. I mean, it was a few hours, 12 hours, while we were trying to figure out how to get the humidity down. So I don't think we've heard it, and if we did, they will just take a few hours longer to hatch. No big deal. So far, everything looks like it should. So we're pretty, I don't know if excited. Carolyn's pretty excited about it. I mean, I'm hoping that we get the full 22 eggs out of it. I don't see why we wouldn't. All of them should be fertilized. We got 2 roosters, so that should ensure the fertilization. If a rooster mates with a hen within 7 days, eggs are going to be fertilized. Now, I'm already getting requests that we put the camera here and we watch the eggs hatch. I don't know if I'll do that. I mean, if I see one hatching, I might come over and record it for a couple minutes and come back over. This is a GoPro, and the GoPro is a sports camera, which is really handy out here. I can do all kinds of things with it. Put it on the lawnmower and you don't see all that shaking and moving around. So it's got really good stability. The problem is it's got such a huge processor and it's got such fine quality. I actually have to turn the quality down because my computer can't handle the quality of the camera, that it overheats after, I don't know, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. So it does have a slow-mo option on this, and I could just set it here and let it go in slow-mo. This is time-lapse is what it's called. So you could just, it would time-lapse it. That would be kind of neat, but I think it would be a boring video. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I might be able to do a little bit and put it into the regular videos. But that'd be a long time to just sit around watching eggs hatch. I just don't know how interesting that is. And the problem with YouTube, here's the problem with YouTube, is if you have a video that does very poorly, then the next video you put out, or the next 10 videos you put out, YouTube won't promote as much. They'll see that your viewers are not interested in your videos anymore, so they just won't promote them. So you can't have a low performing video. You can't just throw things up on YouTube and let's say I put a 5-hour video on there and people only watch 10 minutes. YouTube's going to say, oh, nobody liked your video, so they just won't promote any. So it really hurts to have a poor performing video. Pretty warm the last couple days. It's as you can see, probably I'm sweating pretty good. It's good to get back to being sweaty. So Carolyn was down in the garden today, and they gave me some rooms that she wasn't in the house, you know, doing her thing. So it gave me some time to clean up the stove a little bit. So I did a real good scrub on it, cleaned the window as good as I could clean it. There's still some streaks on it. I opened it up and I just saw the streaks. Got the vacuum in here. Now remember, when we vacuum, we have to be full sun. When I vacuumed, it was fully sunny. Now it's kind of cloudy, kind of in and out. When I hooked the vacuum up, it was 10:30 and the sun wasn't out enough to run the vacuum. So what we do to run the vacuum is we shut off the refrigerator. That way it doesn't kick on the same time the refrigerator's kicking on. It's usually not a big deal, but with us running the incubator, I didn't want to risk shutting that off for any reason. Overloading the system and having to go down and reset everything. So I just shut off the refrigerator, and I was able to vacuum this whole area. I got all this cleaned up. I noticed that some of the fire bricks have cracked. I'm not sure why. I've never mistreated this thing. I never threw logs in it, but there's several cracks. This one here, and these aren't actually bricks. These are some sort of, I forget the name of them. I saw it on YouTube a long time ago. They're like an insulation block. And so if you order these, you have to order the whole set because they're all different sizes. But I don't think it's a big deal that the ones on the bottom here broke. I don't think they separated. I think there's just a surface crack. But as long as the bottom one's okay, if they start cracking on the sides and top, then I'm gonna have to replace them because then they'll just fall over. These blocks really are nice to have on these new stoves. It holds the heat in for so long. Your fire will die down and you'll have this producing heat because that has sucked up all the heat for like 6 to 8 hours. It's quite incredible. So I got all that cleaned up, got the air tubes cleaned up. These air tubes, these reburners, that's what burns the smoke. I've showed you that before. So when the smoke comes up and hits those, you'll see this blue puff of flame. That's the smoke burning off. So got those all scrubbed up and cleaned up. I've done that a couple times throughout the winter. Checked all my seals. All the seals are still good. No cracks in the glass. And then we took some olive oil. You can see Carolyn has done quite a bit of cooking on top of the stove, and as a result it kind of stains it up. And we got some rust over here. We put our coffee pot over here. That keeps it warm throughout the day. Anyway, so it rusted a little bit. So we took some olive oil and we were able to clean this up. That's what everybody suggested, was olive oil or lard. And that cleaned up pretty nice. I've thought about repainting it a few times, but Carolyn and I was just discussing it. As long as we put the olive oil on it, it should last the rest of our life. If we see any problems with it, maybe I'll take some action at that point. But right now, I think it looks pretty good. And then we got the bricks down here all cleaned up. I mean, they're stained. You'll see this one's a lighter color. I broke this one over the winter. I got these at Home Depot. We had an extra one, so I was able to replace it. I got to be careful not to do that. I dropped a log on it and it just snapped. I just thought that was really odd. I mean, these are sidewalk bricks. They're not supposed to break. So Carolyn's been cooking outside the last few days. Boy, she made some nice pork steaks the other day. So today she's got some chicken she's gonna throw out here. I don't know, there's just something about her coming out and cooking on the wood burning setup she's got here. This is actually several different setups. This is like her oven. It's got a little thermometer on it. So that's her oven. This is her rocket stove we've built. And then she's got all her firewood over here stacked up. This should be good and dry by now. She's been down at the garden all morning while I was up there cleaning the stove off. I don't know how much she's gotten planted. This will be the first time I've come down here. So we're gonna come down and take a look at what she got done. I showed you this yesterday's video. She got some green beans and peas planted. I have no idea what she's gotten done now. Oh yeah, I see several more things planted. I guess they're green beans. Peppers. Let's see. I couldn't tell you what she's got, but she's got a few more items. Let's see. Oh, there's peppers over there. Maybe that's cabbage. I bet that's cabbage right there. That looks like cabbage. And these are her peas. And over there on that wall we saw yesterday, that's her green beans. And then once she gets this filled up, she's gonna go over to the big garden that we got tilled up, and she's gonna plant the tomatoes. And she was saying she's got 23 tomatoes. I didn't realize she had that many. So we're gonna have a lot of tomatoes, and that's what I really wanted. I wanted a lot of tomatoes so we can can those up for the winter and have our spaghetti sauce. That's the one thing that we really enjoy, is our little spaghetti sauce meat burger thing that we make. She makes all the time. Man, it's just fantastic. It's so good. So, and then we'll plant a few rows of corn here. I need to get the compost, like the coffee and the egg compost, out here because that'll help keep the deer away. They don't like the smell of coffee grounds and eggshells. So we get that out here. We'll throw that on the garden. That should keep the deer from eating it up. I haven't seen them in a few days. I told you a while back, I was coming down in the morning to start the generator, and they were out right here, there's the camper, and they're not scared of me. One of them was standing right here one day, eating out of this right here. So I mean, the distance may be, I don't know, 50 feet. It's just not that far away. And she's not scared of me at all. Of course, the only thing I can see is her eyes because it's so dark. And then I came out and started the generator after I went into the camper, and they just kind of moseyed, not run, not scared. They just kind of walked away. So last night was the first night the little chicks that hatched with the mama hen that I've told you about several times, they stayed out overnight last night. Where are they at? I just saw them run off. Anyway, this is their little house right here. I came down at 5 o'clock and they were inside their house. Last night I had to put them inside the sleeping area of their little house. They didn't like it, but I put straw in there. Once they realized there was straw in there, they started eating the straw and they were fine. And so at 5 o'clock I came down, flashed the light in there, and they were still in there. And then I came down again at 6 and it was daylight, and they came out. They were already walking down the ramp into the opening. So they got out of bed earlier than the big chickens. Big chickens don't come out until about 7 o'clock. So they were quite active. Now this is the time of the year it's kind of dangerous for chickens. A lot of people worry about chickens in the wintertime, and most chickens are winter hardy. But the chickens struggle more in the heat than they do in the winter. So if you like this video, maybe you'll give me a little tip on the super thanks button down there. So I hope I can inspire you to enjoy the hot summer days when you're living your dream. Thanks for watching.